Hello and welcome to Couple of Instigators. And tonight I have Rhett Thompson.
Woo!
Yes, from Miami, Florida.
Yes.
We have never officially met in person, but we have met on Zoom open mics. I've not seen you at an open mic, right, Rhett?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so. Usually there's so few estrogen floating around that if I would have detected you, I would have I would have known.
Absolutely. So I have not done any mics in Miami, although I did some I did some in Boca, Dayton. I'm not I don't know, up that way, more like Casey Connolly way.
Oh yeah, that would have been too far. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
so I've done so it'd be Robot with Mike Citron and all them guys. So when I was there, I had a couple more than one person was like, you got to come do some open mics in Miami. And I was meaning to, and I will though, in January when I come down again, I will definitely hit some up. There's this one, I'm so bad with names, and she's the one that was trying to get me to come to Miami. She's got curly black hair and a really high-pitched voice. Shoot. I want to think she might tell some jokes about being Jewish. I don't know, but I'm sure you probably you do hit mics a lot, right?
Yeah. Well, I used to hit mics like a lot, but in the last year, I would say the last 2 years, not so much, because it's like everyone in my family, in my immediate family, wants to get sick. So 3 years ago it was my kid, then 2 years ago it was my husband. He had some eye issues. We thought he was going to go blind for a hot second there. So
no way.
Yeah. It's he's got all kinds of glaucoma, cataracts, all that kind of crap in his family. So it runs in his family. And I'm telling you, this is I remember thinking, I want to be a supportive person. You want to be supportive of your spouse, whoever you're in a relationship with. But in the back of my head, I couldn't help but thinking, this is why arranged marriages work, because some boobala or whatever is they're examining someone's medical history, so you don't have to go through this crap.
Right.
For a healthy person that eyes, 4 eyes. Right. Do you want one?
Now you're like, oh, now he's got to be blind. Exactly. I got to walk him around the house. Not right. I cannot rearrange my furniture ever again.
Exactly.
So much.
Exactly. Thank God he didn't go blind.
Right. But
Jesus Christ. I was like, this could have totally been eliminated with a good matchmaker. So
right. Yeah.
There is room in the world for that. And
then, deaf, okay, he can still drive, but it's got to be,
Exactly. At least someone is combing through that family tree to see what kind of diseases, what their DNA. I mean, I know there's a lot of advancements in science now.
Yeah, there's other things you could have handled, right?
Exactly. It's not only about someone having a good job and prospects and no criminal history. You really want to know. Do you have any hereditary issues or diseases? They're going to pop up in the most inopportune time. I need to know that.
Yeah.
That is the kind. Going to multiple optometrist. No, it's not even ophthalmologist.
Ophthalmologist, yes.
That's like a hardcore eye doctor. This is not an eye doctor that's hanging out at the mall trying to sell you some crappy $49 pair of glasses. This is someone who's cutting your eyeball open, and there's lasers involved, and all of that jazz. So that. And
so was he a complete typical baby man during the whole thing, or?
The thing is, the problem is on the serious side, unfortunately his grandmother had the whole glaucoma cataract thing.
Okay.
Where she did go blind in her 80s. So
in her 80s. Okay.
Yeah, so he knew that was a real possibility. So it's him, like the whole mom side of the family, all of them, they have to take those drops to like relieve the pressure or whatever.
So's my dad. Like, it runs in my family. They had the surgery on the glaucoma already, but they're all much older now.
Right. Well, the thing is, now that they have all these medical advancements, his mom was the one who suggested that he try this laser surgery. So, like, at first he went for the laser thing and it didn't work. And so then the problem is he had already injured his eye when he was like in college. Like, you know how guys are, oh, I'll play baseball with no helmet and I'll get popped in the head and mess up my eye. That's not a problem. So, so technically, this guy only has one good eye, and of course, the good eye
was the bad one.
The good eye is the bad one. So, of course, the ophthalmologist who had been putting off for years, like trying to mess with that eye, but then it was to the point where the pressure was so bad that she was like, "Look, we got to do something with this. You just got to trust me. You got to trust me that I won't leave you blind." And I was like, "Is that the kind of appointment that you want to leave?" Like, yes. Like, hey, how much do I trust this woman? So, so the thing is, he did the laser surgery, and that wasn't effective because I guess his eye was healing too well. And what's great about it is that my husband, I mean, technically, he looks like a black guy from Brooklyn, but his family is from Guyana, South America. Like their claim to fame is corruption, and their biggest city is the city that Jim Jones, the whole cult, when they all drank the cyanide,
like the Kool-Aid.
That's where he's from. So basically, like, he's from the cult. They all died type of thing. All the Americans came down and drank a bunch of cyanide and died. Yeah, So when people are like, "Where's Guyana?" and be like, "Well, do you remember the '70s?"
Yeah.
So that's how people remember that. So the thing is, like, so he's technically, you know, he presents as a black guy, and his ophthalmologist, she's one of the best in Miami, and she was like, but you know, this very intense woman from Colombia, and she said, "Look here, baby, this is the problem with this laser surgery. Okay, you know, because you're black, you know, black people were raised to, they were bred as slaves because they had this healing ability. So unfortunately for you, your eye wants to heal too bad. So you have all these keloids in your eye. So I'm going to have to cut them out, because if not, you're just going to go blind." And I was like, like, the need to have her expertise in his eye outweighed my, did she just do a racial slur thing just now? Like, I guess she makes sense. It's like Jimmy the Greek is operating on his eye.
This is what's going on right now.
Yeah. But there's so much truth to it. I mean, like,
it makes sense.
It makes sense. Like, I'm not trying to, like, get your podcast, like, you know, banned off of Apple, iTunes,
No, but yeah, it makes sense, right?
But that was her reasoning. It's like black people, unfortunately, their body's keloid. That means, like, for people who don't know, it's like they heal. I mean, like, white people, anybody can get a keloid, but basically your body is trying to heal, but almost heal too quickly.
But black people do get keloids more.
Yes.
So, yes.
So you could get, like, your ears pierced, and your body is trying to, like, heal, and then you get this big golf ball size scar tissue on your ear. So imagine that being in his eye. So
well, you know what? Now you just kind of, you know what? I learned something. I did. You know, my girlfriend had surgery on, she had her gallbladder removed, and on one of the scars, she started to get that keloid thing on there. And I was like, oh, what is that? But now I kind of am learning more.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
man.
So it's your body trying to heal itself too fast.
Exactly. But the problem is, it's like that keloid was putting pressure on whatever optic nerve or whatever crap that's going on with his eye. So it's basically the healing made it worse. So she was like, okay, so she cut the keloid. And what's crazy is, like, when they do these eye surgeries, there's only so much numbing they can do. So he's basically awake, he's under but not under, type of thing, right? And so I have to drive him home, and he's out of it, and I'm like looking, he's got these red eyes, and I'm like, I know this is serious because I'm driving his car now, because I'm driving it, you know, and he's like going in and out, telling me not to wreck his car because his car is bigger than mine and nicer than mine, or whatever. But I was like, look, you want to go home, or do you want to should I drop you off at the bus stop, and then you can pedal, you can panhandle your way back to Homestead from Miami. You can do that if you want. You could do all 20 miles, like being that old blonde guy. But so that didn't work. So basically she actually had to go in there with a knife and get the keloid out, and then take out that lens and do all this other crap. And I saw she had to put these stitches in, and then there's a healing process, because of course he's freaked out, because he's like, oh my God, what if it doesn't work? What if I end up being blind? He the way she phrased it was like, oh yeah, so you'll just be out of work for a couple of days. And he was like, okay. So he told his boss for his day job, a couple of days. And then she's done. She's like, okay, 6 weeks. And it was like 6 weeks. 6 weeks. 6 weeks of him banging around in our apartment, blind, knocking crap over, it's too small to get a cane. You can't get the cane. You can't get a cane. You can't get a seeing eye dog, because my apartment doesn't allow pets. It's too much. It's too much. His blindness is a total inconvenience to me.
Right.
Absolutely, So, but finally, what was great about it is when it was time to get the stitches out, she was she did that in front of me. So she had this gigantic magnifying.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, hold still. She reaches into her lab coat and gets a pair of pliers. Not pliers, tweezers. And then starts taking them out, and I'm like, are those clean? Did you just take those out of your pocket? I didn't see her any sterilization. I didn't see any wipes, no alcohol spray. She's just like, okay, we're going to do this. And I was looking oh my God, this is happening. And I was fascinated and horrified at the same time, because I was like, what if this thing gets infected? That's all I need. This guy being blind, and now he's really blind.
He made it that far.
He made it that far, but I was like, wow, thank God that this wasn't the age of the coronavirus, COVID-19. Now we're disinfecting our shopping carts.
I know it.
The woman has a pair of tweezers that she dug out of her lab coat, and now she's digging into my dude's eyes to take out some freaking stitches. That can't be right. I'm just saying.
Right.
I don't think they had that in the handbook. Just walk around with your tools.
Yeah.
The tools that are going to touch a very sensitive, jelly-like, feature on your face.
So wait, what country was she from?
I think from Colombia, either Colombia or Venezuela. So maybe
they don't mess around there. Apparently, you know what? Her schooling was Hey,
I don't knock it, because look, he's fine. He feels there's certain types of drops that he doesn't have to take anymore, so it did work. But her whole thing is okay, baby, you just got to make sure you just massage the vein, massage it, because underneath we don't want it to heal. There might be a fluid building up, and it's basically he had a little shunt installed, so a tiny little 1 millimeter wide type of tube draining fluid out of his eye, and you can feel it sometime. And I'm like, ooh, let me feel it. And he's like, stop hurting me. I'm like, let me feel some more. Let me take my very strong hands that I use to knead bread. Why don't I use I don't have those gentle Snow White hands Cinderella. Let me touch the birds and the flowers and the squirrels and the rats making my dress. I have these hands that have clearly done a lot of manual labor. Let me take my strong ass fingers and rub that delicate piece of equipment that's in your good eye. Let me help you massage the pressure out of that. Don't you trust me? Why aren't you trusting me with your one good eye? That's
right.
Hey, I'm just saying, all this could have been avoided if I had a good matchmaker. That's what
right. Exactly. Yeah. So he made it through. His vision is good.
His vision is good. So then, of course, I was like, wow, this is great. Now I can go back to comedy. And then my mom started feel like it wasn't even that she was feeling sick. It was that her doctor, last President's Day, I get a call. It's a Monday. It's my day off for my day job. So of course I want to enjoy my day off. My mom had a doctor's appointment that previous Thursday, let's say. So I get a call on Monday from the doctor's office that say, okay, you got to go to the emergency room right now to get her test.